Today, I've landed in Cebu, Philippines. After a short flight from Boracay, I'm eager to explore the history-filled city, so I'm heading out on the Heritage Trail to learn everything it has to offer. I'm on Osmena Boulevard. This is one of the main arterials here in Cebu, and I wanted to show you guys just how busy this place is. This boulevard was named after the 4th president of the Philippines, and leading off this road in either direction are the most prestigious schools, universities, secondary schools. So there's a lot of students going back and forth, a lot of jeepneys. You can see behind me a lot of buses bringing these children or these students to and from school. This boulevard also links two main districts here in Cebu. Very important road. It's just utter craziness. There is mobile phone repair stores on the side of the road, in addition to the stores that you see behind me. There's other ones selling nuts, fruit, grapes. This road is so lively. They're also fixing the sidewalks at the moment, so once they get that fixed, there's going to be much more foot traffic in here because it's pretty restricted now. I believe this road is probably one of the busiest boulevards I've seen in a while. You really get the feeling that this boulevard is making a connection between south and west, or maybe it's north and east. I'm not sure. I haven't got my bearings right here yet. But Osmena Boulevard, if you follow it all the way up, you get to the minor Basilica and you get to the chapel where Magellan's cross is. Say hello to everyone in Australia.
Hi Australia!
Hello. Good morning.
What's the best thing about Cebu?
The best thing in Cebu is being friendly, and the food also. The famous lechon here in Cebu.
Is that very tasty?
Yeah, very tasty. Roasted pork, pig.
And what's the famous historical site here?
The famous historical site in Cebu is Santo Niño de Cebu.
Santo Niño.
Yes, it was built. The Basilica Santo Niño, yeah. It was built in, I think, in 1500s.
I'm going there now.
Yes.
I even bring my pants, long pants.
Yes.
So can't wear shorts.
Yes.
No shorts.
No shorts.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm at the site of one of the holiest areas in Cebu. Behind me is the Magellan's Cross that was planted here in 1521 by the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan. So this site here is extremely important because not only was the introduction of Christianity brought into the Philippines through Cebu and the planting of the cross, but the local King Humabon, his wife and children, when I say his wife, that was the queen, all converted to Christianity at the site of this cross. So this was a major turning point in the history of Philippines and the introduction of Christianity into this whole area. So whether this cross behind me is actually the original cross that was planted here is debatable. Some experts say that the original cross could be inside this timber cross casing, there for its protection. Others say it's no longer here. But either way, it's not the materialism that makes this place symbolic. It's the fact that a historical event had occurred right here in this very area where the king, the queen, and 800 natives at the one time converted to Christianity, and that was the introduction of Christianity into the Philippines. So the Magellan's Cross is housed in this little chapel, just sitting right here in the courtyard outside the minor Basilica, which stands behind me. Inside this basilica is a famous statue of Jesus as a child, and that's what it's known for. A lot of people come in here for a pilgrimage, And they also visit the chapel, which is just here on the front doorstep of the minor basilica. Quite interesting. I just watched a little procession here. A number of people have come and touched the actual marble stone around the cross, and then there was some chanting as well. The people obviously feel very connected to the cross and its symbolism and what it means for the nation of the Philippine people. So please be respectful when you're in this area, as there's a lot of spiritual chanting, processions and connections going on between the cross, the symbolism, and what it means for the people of the Philippines. The Basilica is very strict on your attire. You cannot wear shorts, you cannot wear short sleeves, you cannot wear caps, and they have a long list of requirements here that you must satisfy before going into the Basilica. The chapel is a bit more lax. You can walk in there and have a look and take photos. Look, the Filipino people are a very religious group of people, so you need to be patient when you're around this area, as there are a lot of people going in and out of the minor basilica and coming to see what's on offer in the chapel. You need to be quite respectful when you visit this whole area in Cebu. It's very holy. The basilica's architecture is a blend of Baroque, Romanesque and neoclassical styles, featuring thick coral stone walls, intricate carvings and a grand facade that reflects Spanish colonial influence. Situated straight down the aisle inside the church, you'll find the impressive altar and the Santo Niño de Cebu, set against a striking red curtain backdrop. I'm walking around the corner from the basilica and the chapel. Tight fit here, but Jesus and Christianity or Catholicism is a big business here. We have a lot of stores, rows of stores that are selling religious icons, products. Belief is very strong in this area. You can feel the belief, very different to Boracay. Thank you, ma'am. Hi. So belief is very strong in this area. You can feel the energy. There's a lot of trade. There's a lot of spirituality. There's a lot of praying. This is probably one of the most religious spots I have been to in the Philippines. It actually feels a little bit like the Vatican City. When you go to the Vatican, all of the surrounding stores and shops and marketplaces have all got to do with religion. And that's what's happening here. Very holy. I love walking, talking and exploring, so I make my way to one of the most famous monuments in Cebu City. It's about a 15-minute walk away, and as you get closer, you can truly feel its presence. I'm on the Heritage Trail now, here in Cebu, and I have found a piece of history that is very important to the Cebuanos and obviously the greater Philippines. Right behind me is the Cebu Monument, and this monument has a lot of history rolled into one, so it's very artistic. It towers above the Cebu skyline. It's pretty tall, and it depicts special times in history here in Cebu, including the arrival of the Spanish, the conversion of the locals into Christianity, the uprising against the Spanish, and the progress that has happened in the island of Cebu. Great statue here, must see when you're on the heritage walk around Cebu City. Be sure to walk all the way around the monument, as the full story unfolds on every side. Once you finish here, just around the corner is the Yap-Sandiego Ancestral House. Manicured trees, Chinese lions, lanterns and Santo Niño statues greet you, offering a warm welcome to this well-preserved piece of history. Can you believe it? I'm standing in one of the oldest homes here in Cebu City. This home was built in the 1600s and it is still standing. It was built by a wealthy Chinese merchant and his wife, and together this heritage home has been now passed down to its descendants. Can you believe that the home still has some of the original furniture and fittings as it once had? It's actually a museum today though. The cost is 100 pesos to enter, and it's right here in the heart of Cebu City. If you look behind me, there's an altar and there's a lot of religious iconography that truly decorates the whole house. I'm not too sure if all of that was brought in later, so I've plonked myself down in the corner of the house now, and I think I've got the best view I can see, like 180-degree views of the home. This house was built using the traditional Spanish architectural style, and if you look behind me, we've got coral stone walls, we've got timber balustrades that are used to hold up the second level and form the roof, and the floor is actually gravel, so there's no floor. It's built on the original foundations, which were probably dirt and stone and whatever else lay in the ground, maybe clay. Can you hear that noise? That is the creaking of the people walking above me on the second level. I told you this house was old. I am now in what seems to be a bit of a side room at the bottom, at the back of the house, and it's full of decoration. I'm guessing they've decorated this room to represent the arrival of the Spanish, and at the same time some of the delicacies that exist here in Cebu, as well as the tools, instruments and objects that the locals have been using for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. Up the staircase we go to the second level. Colonization can really become such a bittersweet thing. As I walk around this house, I look at the fusion of cultures that have been put together to create this building, and I think to myself, wow, there's a part of Spain here, and there's a part of Chinese heritage, and there's a part of the Cebuano, the local heritage here, that has created this home that is so lovely and so intricate in every way. If you look at the carvings, they look very Cebuano. It could be Chinese as well. I'm not going to pinpoint it down to any particular culture or race. But then when you look at the table is set in such a European way, in such a Spanish way, and the chair can be Chinese. The wooden frames could be European. The tiles on the roof can also be European. And when you look at the portraits of the family, you see evidence of local Cebuano culture, Filipino culture, Chinese culture, and European culture, even the way the portrait has been taken. I stay on foot along the Heritage Trail, making time to visit the Casa Gorordo Museum, a former residence that showcases how Cebu's elite lived during the Spanish colonial period. Next, I arrive at the Cebu Metropolitan Cathedral, the largest church in the city and definitely worth visiting. Now it's time to explore Cebu's unique Fort San Pedro. At the entrance, you're greeted by the Spanish royal coat of arms, symbolising Spain's exploration and conquest. The moment you step inside, it feels as if you've been transported to another world. I am standing here in the shade of this beautiful tree in Fort San Pedro here in Cebu City. So this fort is in the shape of a triangle. I've never seen a triangular fort in my life. And the reason why it's triangular is because it was believed to have an advantage against anybody trying to come in here and take Cebu, and the triangular shape allowed cannons to be positioned very strategically. Interesting. Many people told me not to come here. Don't go to Cebu, don't go to Manila either. Skip those places and go straight to the islands where there's blue waters and cocktails and great food and coconuts. And yes, they're right, amazing. But if you're a bit of a history buff and you want to understand about the culture and what's been happening in this area for the past 500, 600, 1,000 years, don't skip Manila and don't skip Cebu. Cebu is one of the oldest Spanish settlements here in the Philippines, and followed by Manila. So when the Spanish first came out to the Philippines, they came here. They came here, established the city, established Christianity, and moved on. It's interesting. Even after all of these years, the Spanish influence is still there. Look at the way this gentleman holds the guitar. Balancing the guitar upright in order to reduce the strain on his wrist and have better sound projection. That technique still carries through over to today, and it was passed down by the Spanish who were here hundreds of years ago. Little things like this just blow my mind each time. This side faces the sea. That end also faces the sea. And that faces inland. The fort is strategic because two sides face the sea, one faces inland, and that allows the soldiers to position the cannons and catch out anyone trying to invade. So you're probably asking, where is the sea? Why can't we see the sea anymore? We can't see the sea because there's buildings in the way, and a lot of high rises and Cebu's skyline has been going up. Therefore, the sea is in front of me in that direction, land is behind me. You can no longer see the sea. So this is coral stone, which is made up of fossilized coral, limestone, and other elements from the sea. And if you look closely, you can actually see that it's representative of coral from the sea. It's pretty solid. Used a lot by the Spanish in order to develop their buildings here back in the days. So much history, all before lunchtime. I'm calling it a day for now so I can refuel, and where better to eat than Jollibee, the pride of the Philippines. I've never seen a fast food restaurant in my life as busy as Jollibee. Have a look at this. I'd say there's probably about 500 people in here, slightly bigger than your standard fast food franchise in floor space. There's also an upstairs which is busy. I won't bother going up there. I'll see if I can find the spot on the ground level. Welcome to the Jollibee factory. This is where they pump out the chicken, the burgers, the fries, and all the Jollibee products. Non-stop. My social experiment at Jollibee continues. I've got my order, it didn't take long. It took about 5 minutes. And their fries taste like McDonald's fries. Could this be the busiest fast food restaurant you've ever eaten in your life. Definitely for me. Chicken burger. It's pretty good. Well made, well presented. The quality is definitely there with Jollibee. So we don't have Jollibee in Australia. Yeah, that's why it's such a big deal for me eating Jollibee today in my quest to try all things Filipino cuisine. This is the champ burger. It's got 2 beef patties in there. It's quite small, about a little bit bigger than the size of my palm. Let's give it a taste. Beef patty, cheese, and a pineapple. It's pretty good. 2 out of 2 for Jollibee. Great burgers. The burgers are quite small. They're bite-sized burgers, so about 2 or 3 bites and they're done. But they're probably just enough to keep you going during the day. I paid 296 pesos for 2 burgers and a large fries. I'd say that's good value. That's about approximately, off the top of my head, $9 Australian. So Jollibee, when are you coming to Australia? Thanks for joining me on my first day in Cebu. The Heritage Trail is a fantastic way to experience this historic city, and I hope you enjoyed the tour. My Cebu adventure continues, and I'll be exploring even more in and around the trail in my next video. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share it so you can support me as I bring you even more great content. I also have many videos from the Philippines which you can find in my YouTube channel. So as always, until next time, a big adios from your friend, the Hausmeister.